Daredevil is a Marvel Comics series that started its run in 1964. Set in Hell's Kitchen, New York, it tells the story of Matt Murdock, the man without fear. Murdock is a crime-fighting vigilante at night and a public prosecutor during the day. Franklin Foggy Nelson is Matt's former law partner and closest friend. In this issue from 2015, color is used repeatedly to characterize the relationship between good and bad in the world of Daredevil. One key aspect of Matt Murdock's character is that he's blind. He has learned to use his other senses to see, which is depicted in the comics as a heat signature image in a red scale. Also integral in Murdock's character description is his morality. He was raised Catholic and vows to never kill anyone. This poses a divide between good and bad within him that is depicted with a juxtaposition of warm and cool tones. The makers of the Daredevil 2015 series use color to visually communicate the divide between good and evil in Hell's Kitchen. Traditionally, color theory suggests that warm tones, such as reds, represent anger or passion, while cooler blue tones represent serenity or purity. The colorists use red hues and warm colors to represent the rage-filled evil side of the divide, and they use blue hues and cool colors to represent the justified good side. When analyzing the impact that color has on storytelling in comics, it is worth noting the history of color in comics. For much of the 20th century, comics were printed with flat colors in a red, yellow, blue, and green color scheme. Artists were limited to these elementary colors due to the cost of printing in color, as well as the cost of colorist labor. Due to these limitations, color had little to no uses for characterizing moods or ideas. As comics artists began getting resources, such as funding or online publishing, color in comics advanced to be a part of the art form as much as the other elements, and began to portray deeper meaning behind characters, as is done in this 2015 issue of Daredevil. The ideas of color theory and emotion hold true in the coloring of Daredevil. Matt is continuously portrayed in shades of red, even when the color is more neutral. This is indicative of the rage and frustration that he has with the crime in his city, as well as the passion that he has for protecting the lives for good of the community. Matt's appearance in a full range of red hues reflect the mixture of rage and passion that encompass him, as well as the color red. In most portrayals of Daredevil, including this one, his suit includes red lenses over his eyes, making it appear that his eyes are glowing red. While this serves practical purposes, this design choice is also an example of characterization. The red lenses of Daredevil's suit imply that he sees the world through a lens of the two emotions most commonly associated with red, rage and passion. Passion for protecting the people in his city, and rage at the needless loss of life that occurs in the shadows of Hell's Kitchen. The strong emotions of rage and passion tint Matt's perception of the world even when he is not in his suit. As shown in this scene, the glasses that he wears on a daily basis are completely red. The red lenses reflect the nature of Matt to see the world through a filter of the red emotions, even when he's not in this suit. This panel from Daredevil number 1 illustrates how Murdock uses his other senses to create an image of the world around him, and how he sees the world through a lens of red. The image is made to look like infrared camera feedback, which is close to the images that Matt perceives. The image is made up entirely in warm colors, with red as the dominant color. This is a visual representation of the emotions that influence Matt's perception and decisions. This panel shows how Matt is portrayed when he is not Daredevil. The context of fighting, and the rage and passion that go with it, is replaced with a mundane courtroom setting. However, Matt stands out as a bright drop of red in the neutral room. Even when he is removed from the context of crime fighting, Matt is still portrayed in his signature color, signifying how he can never fully separate his two lives. This character is the personification of the crime-fighting side of Daredevil. Blind Spot is Matt's sidekick in training, and is only shown in fighting scenes. His costume is entirely black, but his image is accented with shades of red. The coloring of Blind Spot emphasizes the role in his story, as his character only appears in the context of Daredevil versus bad guys, a setting characterized by dominant red hues. This panel further illustrates the effect of the color red in Daredevil. This scene shows a part of the world of crime, a group of gang members. Although this scene is primarily neutral toned, the image is dominated by red tones and accents, making it seem entirely red. Portraying villains and criminals in a red color palette further associates the color red with crime and rage in Daredevil. The final page of the comic shows the main villain for the series for the first time, and it is an example of the effect of using saturated red. Ten Fingers' character is the epitome of violence and evil, which are represented in Daredevil with excessive use of red. Since the color red has such a strong meaning associated with it, using it in such saturation in one panel emphasizes the presence of evil in the scene of characters. Although less frequent, shades of blue are also used in Daredevil comics. They are used to color the lives of citizens and characters not affiliated with a crime or crime-fighting world. The change from red to blue is most apparent when Matt visits Foggy's apartment. It is entirely blue, including Foggy, while Matt retains his red and black color scheme. While the blue color creates a stark separation between the lives of Matt and Foggy visually, it also comments on the role of Foggy's character. Blue evokes a feeling of calmness and reflection, which is what Foggy hopes to do for Matt when he is blinded by fits of rage or passion. In another panel, Foggy is giving Matt a harsh truth and is portrayed in the full blue scale. This example of Foggy's character is in line with color theory's analysis of the color blue as a symbol of calmness and truth. Sometimes the color blue is used simply to mean the opposite of red. Blue is used to differentiate characters between guilt and innocence, as seen in this panel. When this character was originally introduced, he was in the same red color scheme as the other criminals. Later, after Matt saves him, he fades into the blue color scheme of Foggy's apartment. This represents the dissociation of this character with the world of crime. Although it is not common in this comic, the color blue is also used to represent somber or subdued feelings. Foggy is exasperated with Matt and the weight that he puts on his friend's shoulders, and this panel shows a defeated look on Foggy's face after he tells Matt what he's feeling. The blue color of the page, mixed with the deep shadows over Foggy's eyes and face, create a dark mood that expresses Foggy's frustration and sadness. The polarized colors used in this issue of Daredevil are also used in the same panel to portray a divide in the city. In this panel, with Foggy looking out the window at Hell's Kitchen, there is a visual representation of the two worlds that coexist, as well as a color gradient between the warm and cool colors, representing a shift between the two worlds of Hell's Kitchen. Foggy and the tall buildings away from the streets are blue-toned, which implies their peace and civility. As the image shifts down towards the street, the color shifts to a red tone, reflecting the crime and wrongdoings associated with the city.